Easy Sports Talk Show. Ed Smith and Javon Adams. We do this thing 3 times a week. He is Ed Smith. He played professional baseball as well as played in the National Football League. I'm a guy that likes to consider myself interested in sports. I do love sports. I'm a Lakers fan. I'm all things, not all things LA, but also in the music world as well. What is good, my brother?
You are an aficionado, man. You got to get that title. You are now a sports um, uh, analyst. You are, yeah. You got
Yeah, I guess
you got to
so,
get all
huh?
the titles. Yeah, if you're doing it, you better claim
Yeah,
it.
man.
Yeah,
That's real.
I
That's
mean,
real talk. That's real
it is
talk
real talk.
because
Yeah,
I think I'm trying to be. Remember, we're here for those who are listening, wherever you may be listening. We're based out of Phoenix, Arizona, and so there's a gentleman, and we both know who he is, Ron Wolfley. So he does the color for the Arizona Cardinals, and also he has a radio show here locally. And for the longest time, he tried to say, "I'm not media. I'm just a guy." And maybe that's what I'm trying to say too, because I think there are some certain things. If you're going to be in it, then be in it. If you're going to do it, then do it. And I appreciate you for holding me accountable.
yeah. We've been together for a long time, man. This Batman and Batman. This ain't Batman and Robin.
So speaking of Batman and Batman trying to work on his utility belt. I'm trying to get this blood pressure in the right spot. Keep taking it, so we're getting there little by little. There's some little some maintenance that needs to be done in terms of internally, but we'll be working on that. So I want to share that with my brother because I know you're concerned about your boy.
Yeah, yeah. I'm good to hear that. We talked about it last week. Make sure you're on the right track.
Indeed, indeed. So, few things that are on the docket for today. I am really interested in some of the stuff is heavy stuff, and I think for the most part it is kind of heavy. But I'm interested in your take on it. I don't want to get into so the first one, the Northwestern situation. We know Fitzgerald was fired. If you've been paying attention to sports over the last since I want to say since like Friday Saturday when really these things really started to hit. For initially he was suspended for 2 weeks. Okay, it's based on hazing. So let me take a half step back. So hazing was accused in the program. They had an external investigation that was done, and so the results of the investigation, they said we're going to go ahead and suspend the head coach for 2 weeks because of what's been going on in the program, and that would make it seem as if that must not be too bad. But then in a great kudos to it, and it's great to see that nationally in terms of media that everybody's giving the thumbs up to the Northwestern's newspaper, so the student newspaper, for continuing to dig for to be able to uncover the fact or to report that it's not just hazing. There was some sexual deviancy, some sexual aspects to the hazing that was going on. And so fast forward a bit, Fitzgerald has been fired. But because I want to get your thoughts on hazing a little bit later in the show, but they're keeping the assistants. And as soon as I saw that, Ed, I blasted it out to you and I said, nah, I don't understand. But so I don't want to lead you in any way, but they're keeping the assistants, but they fired the head coach because they say the head coach, if he didn't know, he should have known. And some are saying that he did know what was going on. But your thoughts on keeping the assistant coaches instead of letting them go and just really wiping your hands of this upcoming season because it's going to be tainted anyway. Your thoughts?
Yeah, I'm still trying to wrap my head around how if if the head coach knows, that means everybody knows because the everything you know how in society we always talk about crap runs downstream, right?
Yes, sir.
Well, in sports and athletics, when you talk about coaching and stuff like that, it actually runs the opposite way. It runs upstream because what happens is the head coach or the head coach is not, let's call it, in the trenches, like with the players after practice, going to the dorms and all that. That's your assistant coaches, and I'm talking about your low assistant coaches.
Wait, say it
Go ahead.
again. Say it again. That's
That's your
who?
assistant coaches.
Oh,
That's
okay.
the quality control guy. Whatever the
Hmm.
titles are at that level, that's all the way
Hmm.
down at the bottom. These are the guys that
Hmm.
are going to check in the dorms. Like imagine Saban at 12 o'clock on a Friday night going to the dorm or the building to go room to room to check and make sure, hey,
Right.
just checking to see everything's okay. We're not drinking in here, we're not smoking in here, we're not sexing in here, right?
That's what you
Okay.
put people in position to do, so that if you put the right people in position, go ahead.
And it's the lowest of low positions. These are the dudes that while all the coaches are coaching the last, play getting the last game plan and stuff like that, and the lights are turning off, you got lights turning on for those guys that are going to the dorm or going to the play. Then what happens, they go back and report to their superior, and then it goes up to the next level. Then that's to position coach. Then it goes to, coordinator. Then it goes to head coach. So as what I'm saying, and I'm illustrating, is it runs uphill. So that means if you're cutting off the head of the snake, like Fitzgerald, you got to go because you had to know. But we're going to keep all these other dudes around here. They knew too. And they were the ones that were even deeper into it because they probably seen some of it. Now,
because especially if you're one of those coaches, if you're on one of those assistants, right? As you mentioned, maybe on the lower levels, whatever the hierarchy is, there's going to be a certain level of comfort and ease when those players are around you. And so they're saying, oh, you know what we going to do? Oh, you know what's going on tonight, coach?
Yeah.
Or you know what we about to do? I'm just saying, even if they don't let the whole cat out of the bag, you know enough to be able to form opinions and to be able to get some type of picture. And that's what I would think.
And you got to remember, some of those guys at those lower levels, those are student, or I don't even know what their titles are, student assistants or whatever they are.
Graduate assistants,
grad
maybe,
assistants.
Like right.
They're the same age, if not just a few years older than some of these kids that are coming in. So that's why they have the comfort with them and stuff like that. They've been there. They know, hey, we just did that a couple years ago. Carry on, soldier, that type of thing. And then, so what I'm saying is, if the head coach knows, that means everybody, because here's the thing, in most instances, the guys at the lower level, if they're doing their job, they're saying to the players, hey, this, hey, just keep it down. I'm not gonna go rat on you. I know y'all want to get you a little drink on or your smoke on or whatever. I'm not gonna go rat on you, but just, hey, I'm trying to do my job. Just keep it down, that type of thing. Yeah. But when it gets to the point where it trickles upstream and the head coach finally knows all this stuff, his job, he should be like, hey, we got to have a team meeting. I heard such and such, we're not carrying it on like that here. We're shutting this down. If I hear about it again, you're going to be immediately dismissed. That's how stuff gets squashed.
Right.
But again, when the fires, when they're trying to keep the fire low, they're covering it up down, at the lower levels and stuff like that. So by the time he gets to the head coach, like I said, he has a decision to make and should be leading these men in the right direction. If he turns a blind eye, then that is his fault. But to your question, Jay, how are you going to keep those guys around that probably knew more about it than the dude at the top? It makes no sense to me. And here's the crazy part. We're in July. It's July 12th.
Yeah.
The season is 6 weeks, 4, 5, 6 weeks away. As far as opening college football, could you imagine wiping the slate clean?
You just have to shut the program down for a season, and just try to or do something drastic along those lines. But I get what you're saying.
That's what I would rather have them say. Hey, we got to let him go, but there's nothing else we can do. We need a team. They got to go find an interim coach. We need a team, and we need somebody to coach these guys. We're going to suck it up, and but to make it seem like it's all Fitzgerald's part, and then slander him. That's when it's like, well, everybody's pointing the finger at him, including those guys that probably knew a whole lot more than him. But, he takes as a head coach, you're going to take, you're making that $52 million, which they still owe him 42 on that, I think. He's making all the bread.
They said they fired him for cause.
So lawsuit coming, and he's probably going to get his 42 plus because of slander.
Hold up. So here's the thing. Here is one of the crux of this issue, because the president of the university, all those, he saw the report, right? So it's not as if if he didn't, then he should be reprimanded in some way. But he read the report and saw all the allegations and saw all of the findings based upon the outside, the outside firm that did the research, that did the investigation. So if he sees all that and then says 2 weeks, and then because everybody else finds out what's in the report, he says fired. We have an issue. We have an issue. We have an issue. You can't tell me because I was late the third time that, okay, I'm gonna write you up. And then because somebody says, well, he's late. I thought you were supposed to wait, hold on. Oh, my bad. Sorry, dog, you fired. Wait a minute, hold up. You can't jump that. You can't jump that way. You have to, that is where it gets slippery. And when you have people that have the ability to bring litigation into this might be one of those things where, but this might be one of those things where it's probably better to settle as opposed to bringing it out, because then all of a sudden Fitzgerald will say, all right, man, if you don't want to give me my money, I'll let everybody know what you knew as I was finding things out, because I was in the dark just as much as you. And once you did find out, you tried to cover it up. If that's the case, I'm just throwing out hypotheticals out there.
Lots of different things you talked about in that, just in that short soliloquy right there. You like that word, don't you? That's soliloquy.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
One, they tried to do the news dump on Friday, where we're getting ready. It's a slow time of the year. Hey, if we just do 2 weeks, but we do it on Friday when everybody's going home, this will by Saturday, by Sunday morning, this will be like swept on the rug, because hopefully something happened over the weekend. And, we'll just, so they tried that first. That didn't work. Then the president is like, when the 2 weeks didn't work, it's like, wait a minute, let me go back and look at that report again. What did you see?
Right.
What didn't you see the first time, bro? If you read it, what didn't you see the first time, where 2 days later, or however many days later, it's like, oh, wait a minute. After further investigation, further review, yeah, no, you gotta go. That type of thing, right?
Man.
That's I don't understand that part of it. And then as far as what you say, Fitzgerald, yeah, he's sitting in almost the same seat as the president. He's got a lot of power. You got the the athletic directors. It's like the level of the head coach. He's got the athletic director. You got the president. Everybody's worried about their job at this point, and there's a lot of pointing the fingers. I think with this, yeah, the lawsuit is coming. We know that. Yeah. And as far as settling, hell yeah, they won't want to settle, because they're not going to want.
You would think so.
You would think so. And the other thing is, Fitzgerald is probably realizing, if you're not a great coach, because this has happened to some real great ones, and they've gotten their hands dirty, but they've been able to find their way back in because you're great coaches. If you're not a great coach, Fitzgerald's probably thinking, wait a minute, this might have been my last hurrah, because who's going to hire me after this? So if that's the case, one, you're going to give me my 42 mil, because I want to live the rest of my life as comfortable as possible. And anybody who gets 42 mil could do that. The other is, I want more, because this is, like I said, this could be the end for him, which means if you're going to back him into the corner, what's the worst thing you can do with one of you doing trash in the middle of the night, taking stuff out, and I'll see you see that raccoon or something, like, right? You better step away. Don't back that raccoon into the corner. Step away, because that thing is thinking, hey, this could be life or death. And even though it's an unfair battle, I'm going to get mine on the way out. And so they better watch out with him, because who knows what he does know, and who knows what others know. So it could get really ugly on their way out the door.
Definitely could. So Easy Sports Talk. That's Ed Smith. I'm Javon Adams. Hazing. So you played in professional sports. You've been in the locker rooms and in the clubhouses. So how prevalent was hazing when you were coming up? And I would imagine that it wasn't anything to this extreme in terms of what's alleged or speculated to have been taking place within at Northwestern.
Yeah, for me, I experienced it in unique kind of ways. When I was a minor league baseball player, when I remember my first full spring training in '88, and I even had a winter ball my first year. There was minor hazing, and it was monitored by the coaches. There was one we had instances, and one of my best friends and one of my best brothers in the world, I hope you get to meet him one of these days, Kenneth Pleasure. He was like a big loud mouth from Benton, Arkansas, and young just like me, and ran his mouth. And the older players were like, "Let's give him a little dose real quick." And they got him with some couple, like it was this thing called the 3-man lift. I'll explain it to you one of these days. I won't go too long
Okay.
now.
Okay.
But there were different things that were done, and he was targeted one time, and it was it was like the entire, imagine spring training, and every rookie ball, A ball, single, double, triple A, everybody was out there because it was like we had lunch one day, so they got it. But it was in front of a huge crowd, and it wasn't, But as far as the individual hazing, those guys didn't do anything crazy on us. Now, when I got to the NFL,
Mm-hmm.
it was there was some hazing, and it was actually a hazing night. And I remember that my first camp. But what happened, because I was 25 when I went into the league, because of my baseball years, I played 9 years of baseball first. But by the time they didn't consider me a rookie, so they
Okay.
left me alone. I was a grown ass man like most of them. Then even the older guys, I was closer to their age than I was the rookies coming out of of college, and they just left me alone. I didn't have to do this stuff like know my fight song, and they point to that guy in the middle of lunch. We're all up at lunch, and they would just somebody walk by and say, "Rookie, get up and sing for us," that type of thing. And had to stand on the chair and in front of everybody, sing your fight song and stuff like that, or put on a rookie night. They put on a rookie night for us as well. We had to do skits and stuff like that. Now, the
Yeah.
first time I saw the hazing part, though, I was in my room, and it was after I'd made the roster and stuff like that. And they had this night, come to find out, they went room to room, and they pulled some of the dudes out of bed. And I'm not going to name the team, but
Yeah. Yeah.
some of the instances, they pulled young guys out of bed. They taped them to the poles out, the poles out. Well, a lot of them using my losing my
The
words.
field goal post.
The field goal post. They wrap tape around them to that. Some of them they like ran in the room with buckets of water and like the trash buckets, and doused everything in their entire room, including them. There was all kind of stuff that they did to these guys.
Yeah.
And in coincidentally, my brother was down in New Orleans when I broke into the NFL. There was a story, they actually got really bad down there where some of it got out, and it was reported on the news and everything. Because what happens is these young guys, you got to have a good. It depends on how they get you, but you
Mm-hmm.
either have to have a good mindset about it, like, hey, this is what we all go through, or you get those guys that, hey, how you guys gonna treat me like this? I was a first round pick, nobody treats me like this, and they're the ones that squeal and go to, which they go to the coaches, and this stuff gets out, and somebody finds about it in the news. So I was a part of it, but it was never done to me, like I said, because of I didn't experience it in baseball, and in football, I wasn't. I was too old, but I did see it.
Yeah.
So it does happen, not to the extreme. Like you're hearing stuff about sexual and could that, like, I don't know what, maybe they're tying these dudes up and doing stuff to their body. I don't know what they're doing, but never to that extreme. Because I'll always remember. I obviously remember too, when you get to the professional ranks, you're dealing with grown men. I don't care how, even in their early
Right.
20s. With
Right.
college, you're dealing with kids right out of high school, 18 years old, and they're still very vulnerable. So some of the stuff they probably did to these college kids in terms of trying to do it to a 22, 23-year-old coming out of, being a professional athlete by the time they're doing this stuff to them, that's not going to go over well. So that's when you get fights and, but like I said, whatever they were doing here at Northwestern, obviously crossed lines. And like I said, I've seen different versions of it, but not to this extreme, I don't think.
Easy Sports Talk Show. That is Ed Smith. I'm Javon Adams. You can call me J Love. You can call him Easy. Zion Williamson. Zion Williamson. He stopped by Gilbert Arenas' podcast and gave some comments about what's been going on. We know that he's been in the news not only for his inability to stay healthy. The best ability is availability, as is the phrase, and of course, what's going on with some of his extracurricular activities with ladies that he associates with, and those types of things. So when he stopped by, he mentioned that he understands that he needs to be better, to be on the floor and to be available. My question for you is, what you think about his comments? Were they good enough, or are they just not quite curling right, as we say, where he says, no, I don't really, essentially, but part of it, he says, I don't really think I need to lose weight. I just think I need to be more flexible and pliable. Similar to, let's say, LeBron James, the way he uses a lot of the band exercises and those things. And some people took umbrage with it, such as Perkins on ESPN and a couple others. Your thoughts on that? Because I would think, no, I get you, dog, but you might need to shed a couple pounds so that you can be a little bit more durable as you're trying to be more flexible. Am I wrong, or did you think he was on point with what he said in terms of some of his accountability, trying to surround himself with better people, more experience, more to get more sage advice, etc.?
Bro, he sounded like Pookie from New Jack City, bro. It's hard.
Ooh.
It's hard. It's hard out here, man. You know, I got all this money. I'm 22 years old, and they just keep calling me and calling me, man, bro. Bro, I
Oh
mean, you can make
man.
every excuse in the world, and you can talk about what you need to do. If you ain't gonna be about it, this dude in a few years is gonna be considered one of the biggest flops in the world. I mean,
Oh.
you at this point, you don't have any other job than being a basketball player, and that means getting on the field by any means necessary. If that
Mm.
means eating less and losing some weight, so you take some of that stress off your body at 285, reported 285, bro. I know
Right.
what my reported weight has been sometime, what they put on the list, and I know exactly what I weigh.
Right.
So I mean, you can call it 284, 285 if you want. That looked like three and some change to me, easy. And he
Mm.
is doing himself such an injustice by making excuses and having the wrong people around him. He needs to get people around him, obviously, that can tell him, Zion, you need to look in the mirror and you need to stop trying to. You can talk to everybody and try to fool them. The only person you're fooling is yourself.
Ooh,
And I'm
that's a
serious,
word right there. That's a word right there.
telling you, bro. I mean, it sounds like he's making every excuse possible as to why it's so hard on him. And he's trying. People say they look at me sitting on the bench and they think that I don't want to be out there hooping. I want to be out there hooping. Then then push away from the plate, get
Mm.
in the gym, shed about 25, 30, even 40 pounds, come in at 255, 260 ripped, and show us what you can do. That would
Mm.
be my challenge to him if I'm the Pelicans or anybody who's thinking about making a move to bring him on, because he's showing me right now he ain't about ball, bro. He's about all this money he got. He's always been the best out there and done it with minimal effort. Now he's out there with a bunch of grown men who are even better than him,
Mm.
and he has not risen to the challenge. And by me rising to the challenge means work. People think victory and success is made during the season. Nah,
Nope.
victory and success is made during the off season when nobody's watching. When it's I've listened to you sometime. It's 110, 112 out here right now. What are you doing? You're like, I'm getting up at 4 in the morning so I can get out and get my miles in. You think
Yeah.
that's easy?
Nope.
That ain't easy when that alarm
No.
goes off at 4 o'clock and you're getting up.
No,
You're
sir.
getting out there because you got to get it in, because that's not easy, bro. This dude I can picture him now. Alarm going off, snooze. And 10 minutes later, snooze.
Ooh.
Then you know what he does after the fourth or fifth time that thing goes off? He hits
What's up?
dismiss and goes back to bed. He's not putting in the work. He's not putting in the time. But what's the easiest thing
Ooh.
bro?
Ooh.
You're talking about eating, what you put in your body, right? The
Yes,
easiest
sir.
thing in the world. You know what I had for dinner last night, bro? I
What's
had a
up?
salad. I had a
And you
salad
know
that
me on my with my blood pressure. I all of a sudden once I went and the doctor said it's high, and it was I thought I've been doing the right stuff, and now I got some peanuts from the after I worked out yesterday afternoon, and I was looking how much sodium in that, what them carbs looking like. Yeah, you got to change. You got to change your mind.
Let me give you a quick story. I'm sitting there, and at first I was like, "Let me do right here and make myself a salad." So I got the mixed greens, and then I had a head of lettuce. So I cut that head of lettuce, and I'm shredding it myself, rinse it off, put it in my bowl. Got some shredded carrots so I go get those. I'm sprinkling them in there. Then I'm thinking, I was like, we'll go with this. Good with this. Put some eggs in there. So I'm sitting there, and I get the eggs, and I'm boiling them. Right. Quentin comes by. He's like, "Dad, what you doing?" I said, "I'm making me a salad." "Yeah, you put a lot of work into that, ain't you?" I was like, "Well, because I very easily I very easily could have just greens, and I went, it
Yeah.
was effort, bruh. I
Yeah,
boiled them
man.
eggs. I went because I was hungry too. So I hadn't eaten at that point in the day as
Yeah.
much. And I'm sitting there, I'm like, this salad, I'm ready to devour it. But I was like, man, hey, hold on. Give yourself another 5, 10 minutes, the eggs done, take them out the shell, slice them real quick, get them in the bowl, just a little bit of bacon bits in there. I'm ready to go. But that
Yeah.
was effort to make sure I did the right thing. I
Yeah.
made that salad, ate that salad.
Yeah.
Zion, Zion, all you got to do is stay away from the fried chicken, the greens, the big plates of this and that. It's not
Yeah.
that tough if you
Yeah.
want to do it. He ain't doing it.
Yeah. You got the biggest thing. I was at church. It was a couple weeks ago. And during the kind of the group discussion, and said, what do you want? What do you want God? What do you believe that God can do for you in your life? And I said, I believe God can change my mind. I'm not trying to get religious on anybody, but and so what I meant by that is if I can change my mind, then all the other things can kind of fall in place. If that's what you got to do, don't come up with excuses. This is where I'm at based upon the choices that I've made. Now I got to change my mind so I can make better and start to make better choices and decisions. But for sure. So Easy Sports Talk. That is Ed Smith. I'm Javon Adams. Lead me with this. The All-Star game took place yesterday. The National League won for the first time, I want to say, in over 9 years.
Mm.
Did you ever participate in an All-Star game when you were playing professional baseball? And if so, what was that experience like?
I played in one, and it was as cool as you can imagine, man. Um, it's the best of the best in that. It was minor leagues. Obviously, was the best of the best in that particular season. It was an honor, to be honest with you. I played a bunch of years, didn't make them. You finally make one. It's like, this is really cool. You get to kind of
Yeah,
fraternize with the best of the league, and it's recognition more than anything. And like I said, there are a lot different now, probably even at that level. They have home run contests and they emulate the big leagues now more than ever. But for my experience, it was coming together for the game. It wasn't a lot of hoopla or anything like that. But I really enjoyed it. And then watching those guys, it's gotten to the point now though I have to record it now, like meaning the big league one, because it's just too much. I mean, it's a little over the top, but
it
just
was competitive last night,
it was
though. It was
competitive. I'm
competitive.
just saying the pregame and the this and
Oh, okay, I
the
get you.
dudes wearing the microphones on the ear, and talking to us while they're out there on the field. And it's like, look, can I just get a game in real quick? But like I said,
Right.
you make the All-Star game at that level. What I was really impressed with though, Jay, is if you go back last year's All-Star game, I actually watched and perused through it. There was a whole lot of dudes hitting 210, 215, 250 was, like the going rate. This year I saw a whole lot of dudes in the threes and high twos, which is that means that we're getting back to somewhat real baseball. It's still a whole lot of striking out and stuff like that, but the ball's in play a lot more. And I can't say that I watched the entire game yesterday. I watched the first part of it. Then I kind of hit the snooze button on that and went elsewhere. And Vinci got the score 3-2. So still, like I said, it drew me in for a little bit, but didn't. Those All-Star games are, it just didn't hold me the whole time. But I'm
Yeah.
happy for baseball. It was their night, and we'll go back to finishing off this 162.
That's what's up. So, on behalf of Ed Smith, I'm Javon Adams. This is Easy Sports Talk Show. You can follow us, subscribe to our YouTube channel, Easy Sports Talk Show on YouTube. You can also go to easysportstalk.com, and then like, share, subscribe. We hope you enjoy, and we'll see y'all on Friday, as we always like to say around this time. Or you can.